Climate Action News One-on-One, brought to you by We Don't Have Time and A Sustainable Tomorrow. My name is Katarina Rolfsdotter Jansson, and I'm the host of this program.
Sophia Mathur, 13 years old, started with environmental lobbying to politicians at age 7. Her work has taken her all the way to the US Congress and the Canadian Parliament with the organization Citizens Climate Lobby. She is credited for bringing Fridays for Future to Canada. Sophia is one of 7 young people taking the Ford Ontario government to court for weakening Ontario's 2030 climate target with eco-justice.
Hi there, Sophia. How are you today?
I'm doing pretty good. I got a bug bite on my eye, but other than that, well.
That's great. Well, not the bug bite, but it's great you're doing fine in the situation that we have. So, Sophia, tell us about the lawsuit, an update, and how did the idea come up to actually sue the local government?
Well, I got contacted way back in like November 2018 about this, and I had always dreamed about being a lawyer, so I thought it was such a great idea, so I decided to join. And it was so great meeting all the people, meeting the lawyers. We had lots of sessions together, and then more recently, after our case was released, the Ford government put a motion to strike on our case, which means they're kind of trying to stop our case. They don't want it to go forward. So now we're probably going to go, we're going to counter their motion to strike and see what comes next.
Well, this is impressive. And it's not only you, you have a team of lawyers, obviously, and there's other youth around you too. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think there's 5 other youth, or there's 5 youth on the case and 2 lawyers, yeah.
And when I read about you, Sophia, I understand that you have been an environmental activist and climate activist since you were 7, and now you're 13. Where does your engagement in the environment and in climate, where does it come from?
I've always been aware of the climate crisis. I was kind of born into it because my mom decided to become a part of the climate movement just right before I was born. But then I just started to become more aware of it when I was 7 years old, because I guess as a 2-year-old, I thought it more of as my mom's job and less of as a problem. But when I was 7, I saw my mom lobbying, and I decided to go with her on Parliament Hill, and I had such a great time, and I had learned so much, and I realized, oh my goodness, that this is an actual problem that is going to affect our future. And now I'm a climate activist.
Well, good for you. That's amazing what you're doing. Really, it is. So tell us more about your work as a climate activist. What does it entail, and how has the pandemic affected what you do?
Well, every week we used to go out striking on City Hall, bring out signs and just for a couple of hours sit out there. But more recently with the pandemic, we've been doing online strikes. And as a climate activist, I learned to adapt to these sorts of things because, as a helpful organizer, I would say, when there's rain, you have to adapt to that. So just like when there's a pandemic, you have to learn to adapt to that. And it's been really fun doing these online strikes because Zoom is really fun to use, and there's lots of other tools that we can use. So we're still adapting to it, but it's been really fun.
Is there maybe even a way of this getting stronger, the movement, when you're connecting online, or do you feel like you're losing traction? How does it feel?
I definitely feel like we are getting stronger because now you can see that social media, which a lot of people are on it now that there's a pandemic and a lot of people are staying home, that it's like flooding social media, a whole bunch of photos, and you can see that lots of people have been joining Digital Strike. It's easier for people to get onto Zoom now. It's easier for people to join, and we've been getting a lot more media attention because it's so cool that you can throw an event on Zoom.
Well, that's very hopeful to hear. Indeed, it is. So, Greta, Sophia, you met Greta. What was it like? Because I understand that she was is a great inspiration for you.
Yeah, Greta is like my role model for everything I do in the climate movement. I know lots of, it's almost like a kid these days meeting like a superstar or a famous actor or something. But for me, it was meeting Greta Thunberg. She's my superstar, as I like to say. And she was such a calm and nice person to meet, and we got to have a little chit chat. There were a lot of people backstage that day, but we all got to have a nice chat about the climate movement, and it was really fun, and it was so cool on how natural it was that everyone was talking to each other.
Great, wonderful. So, Sophia, how do you see the role of youth in the climate movement in the future, and starting from now?
I think that youth will drive us forward because we are, the climate crisis is definitely going to affect the youth today, more in the future, because we're going to be the adults of tomorrow. And so I think it's very important that we have youth in this movement, because youth have way more powerful voices. I mean, yes, it's great. There's lots of adults in the movement, but if an adult sees a kid on the TV talking about climate change, that will catch their eye and make them realize that this is an important issue, because even during a pandemic, youth are still talking about this, and it's showing that we want climate action.
How do you balance between fear and hope? Because you have many years to go on this planet, being young. Do you talk a lot about those two aspects of your future, the dark scenarios and the brighter ones? How do you navigate in these waters?
Well, I try to keep hopeful during this, because I'm surrounded by lots of people who want to take action. So I always try to stay hopeful during the movement, because I know there's a great possibility that we could take action. We just need to do it now, because we are running out of time. So I think it's good that anytime I have fear, I use it to empower me to keep going forward. Every time I'm scared, I like to talk to somebody about it, because you don't want that fear to build up inside you, so that you feel lonely and you feel like nothing's going to happen. You want to make sure there's always a spark of hope there.
Well, thank you, Sophia. How do you see the importance and the role of the lawsuits? Because your lawsuit is not the only one in the world. There are other lawsuits very much inspired by your generation against governments. How do you see that coming forward?
I think the lawsuits are so important, because now they're kind of, if the law gets put in place, that's forcing the government to do it. So they have no choice to not take action on the climate, or else they're breaking the law. And I think that's so great, because they're putting lives at risk. And I think it's important that that is against the law. And I think it's so great that there's lawsuits all in other countries, because that's showing everybody, oh my goodness, we can bring our jobs and our work into this. I know that lots of dancers are dancing for the climate, and a lot of lawyers are getting into these lawsuits and learning about it. And I definitely want to be a lawyer when I'm older, so this is such a great opportunity to know how to be a part of this, and also get to bring my activism in it, and still be able to make a difference. Yeah.
You are also an artist. I mean, you're very much interested in art, I understand. Tell us more about this, and how you are bringing your interest of art into climate action.
So I have been doing parachutes. It's called Parachutes for the Planet. It's my Mother Earth project, and we paint humongous parachutes, and we used to bring them out to rallies, and now we sometimes may take photos with them on our driveway. And
parachutes as in jumping out of airplanes?
Not as parachutes as in jumping out of airplanes, like playing parachutes.
Okay, smaller ones.
Yeah, but they are still pretty big, and we get to paint them however we want with whatever message on it. And it always attracts a lot of people, because at rallies, everyone would want the parachute, and it's just a fun thing. It's good for the media, and I also bring my dance into this. I love bringing the arts into it. I love doing dancing for the climate. I love, because it shows your passion in what you're doing, and it catches the eye of lots of people when they see dancing for the climate, or when they see a pretty big parachute with art on it.
If you imagine lots of young people watching this, and lots of young people will be watching this, What would you like to say to those that are a bit hesitant into getting involved in climate action? What would you say to them?
I would say that youth have a strong voice. You can definitely make a difference in doing this. It doesn't matter what you do. You can bring your hobbies into it. It's really easy. You can just grab a sign, post a photo of you on social media, and tell everyone, "Hey guys, we're in a climate emergency right now." It's as simple as that, and I think it's just everyone can make a difference. It doesn't matter if it's small or big, or if you're part of a lawsuit, or if you're just going for a garbage cleanup in your neighborhood. Everything helps.
And what is the difference from you when you get involved compared to if you wouldn't be? I mean, in terms of a well-being, how do you think that affects aspects of fear if you do take action or if you don't?
I think that taking action on the climate crisis and being a part of this lawsuit has definitely helped me use my fear and change it into action. So you take your fear and turn it into action. So if I wasn't doing anything on this climate crisis, and if I wasn't speaking about it, then I probably would have built up fear in me about the climate crisis and be very worried. And as I said, we need to make sure that we have hope in this movement. And it's definitely great to be able to post on social media and see people's reactions. And there's obviously going to be lots of great reactions to it. And it's just something that kind of pushes down the fear.
And that is really important. And what you do is crucial for the survival of the next generation, obviously. You get one final question that everybody gets. If you come from the UN or if you're 13 years old, you're just as important in this program. And the question is, what does climate leadership mean to you? And do you have any examples that you'd like to share?
A climate leader is someone who believes that we should take action on the climate crisis, and that doesn't even have to lead the way, but shows and takes on the government. It doesn't matter how they do it, because everyone is a climate leader. You don't have to be an organizer. You don't have to be the one on the stage. You could be the person behind the scenes running the event. Everyone is a climate leader. And it's hard to give examples of a climate leader because there's so many people who would be considered a climate leader. I would consider all my friends climate leaders because of what they're doing. Everyone's doing their own stuff, and that makes them a climate leader in their own way.
Well, thank you so much, Sophia, for joining us on Climate Action News 101. It's very inspiring to listen to you, to talk to you, and best of luck with your endeavors in climate action and your dreams of becoming a lawyer. I'm positive you will be an excellent lawyer with your rhetorics and your passion. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And for all of you viewers, please join the We Don't Have Time platform on the app or on the web. And if you're based in Scandinavia, you can join a Sustainable Tomorrow for meetings, events, and education. We're all in this together, and we'll be back next week with another guest. Take care.
Coming up next week, Mindy Lubber is CEO and president of CERS, a sustainability nonprofit organization working to build leadership and drive solutions throughout the economy.